There is something sitting in your kitchen right now that could either be quietly sabotaging your blood sugar every single morning or actively helping you bring it down, depending entirely on one thing: whether you know the truth about it. And the truth is something most people with diabetes have never been told. Not because their doctors don't care, because the information that's been circulating for decades is simply wrong. And wrong information causes real harm in silence, day after day, meal after meal. Today, Dr. Pardip is going to change that for you, because what he's about to share about eggs and diabetes has the potential to shift your numbers, starting with the very next breakfast you eat. He knows the place you might be in right now. You've made changes, you've cut things out, you've tried to follow the advice that was handed to you. And still, every morning, that glucometer shows you a number that doesn't reflect the effort you're putting in. That's one of the most demoralizing things a person can experience: working hard at something and watching it not respond. But here's what Dr. Pardip has seen again and again in over 20 years of working with patients managing type 2 diabetes. When the results aren't matching the effort, it usually means the strategy needs updating. Not the person, the strategy. Dr. Pardip is a specialist in diabetes management and metabolic nutrition, and every week on this channel he shares information that is grounded in current clinical evidence, not outdated guidelines that haven't been revisited in 30 years. If that's the kind of content you want more of, subscribe right now and turn on notifications so you never miss a video. It takes 2 seconds, and it could genuinely make a difference in how you manage your health going forward. And please stay until the end, because the section on eggs at dinner time is something most patients have never heard, and it could lower your fasting glucose by tomorrow morning. Before Dr. Pardip talks about eggs specifically, he needs to lay one piece of groundwork that makes everything else make sense. Most people with diabetes understand that carbohydrates raise blood sugar. That's the basic lesson. But what often doesn't get explained is that your body doesn't process every meal in isolation. The combination of foods you eat at the same time changes how each individual food behaves inside your body. And protein, real, complete, high-quality protein, has a specific and remarkable effect when it's eaten alongside carbohydrates. Think of it this way: carbohydrates without protein are like a car with no brakes on a hill. They roll fast and they go where gravity takes them, straight into your bloodstream, raising your glucose quickly, demanding an immediate insulin response that an impaired pancreas may not be able to deliver cleanly. But add protein to that same meal and something changes. The protein slows the entire digestive process down. It's the brake. It doesn't eliminate the carbohydrate's effect, it moderates it, stretches it out, makes it manageable. And of all the protein sources available to most people, affordable, accessible, easy to prepare, eggs sit at the very top of the list. 2 whole eggs provide roughly 12 grams of complete protein, meaning they contain every essential amino acid your body requires and cannot produce on its own. And their glycemic index is 0, not low, exactly 0. Eggs on their own do not move your blood sugar at all. What they do is help prevent other foods from moving it as dramatically. And this is where a genuinely troubling pattern comes in. Dr. Pardip has watched patients eliminate eggs from their diet, sometimes for 2 or 3 years, because they were warned about cholesterol. He understands why. The advice was given by someone they trusted. But the research that advice was based on has been substantially revised. And in the meantime, what replaced the eggs on their breakfast plate? White bread, instant oatmeal, fruit juice, packaged cereals. All of them are fast-digesting carbohydrates with nothing to slow them down, no protein break, no fiber buffer. Their glucose spiked every morning, their energy collapsed before lunch, and in many cases, the very cholesterol number they were trying to protect got worse, not better. Because the real drivers of harmful cholesterol changes are refined sugars and processed fats, not eggs. Dr. Pradip thinks of a patient named Raymond. Raymond was 67 years old when he came to the clinic, a former teacher who had managed type 2 diabetes for 9 years. He was methodical, organized, and had kept a detailed food diary for months before his first appointment. He handed it over at the start of their first meeting and said, "I want you to tell me what I'm doing wrong because I can't figure it out." His fasting glucose averaged 181. His A1C was 8.5%. He walked every morning without fail. He took his medication exactly as prescribed, and he had not eaten an egg in 4 years. What Raymond ate for breakfast each morning was a large bowl of multigrain cereal with low-fat milk, a sliced banana, and a glass of fresh apple juice, because he had read that fresh juice was better than processed. It sounded responsible. It looked like a healthy breakfast. But when Dr. Pradip broke it down with him, the reality was sobering. That breakfast delivered a concentrated load of rapidly absorbed carbohydrates with virtually no protein to regulate the pace at which glucose entered Raymond's bloodstream. His blood sugar was climbing above 240 within an hour of eating. By mid-morning, the crash left him tired and reaching for something to steady himself. The cycle repeated at lunch, at dinner, all day long. His pancreas never getting a real rest because the demand never stopped. Dr. Pradip walked Raymond through what the science actually shows now about dietary cholesterol and cardiovascular risk. Study after study, published in the last 15 years, has found that for the vast majority of people, the cholesterol contained in whole foods like eggs does not translate meaningfully into elevated blood cholesterol. The liver regulates cholesterol production largely independent of what you eat, and what most disrupts that process are excess refined carbohydrates and industrially produced fats. In fact, a growing body of research suggests that eating whole eggs regularly may actually improve cholesterol profiles, raising HDL, the protective type, and shifting LDL particles toward a larger, less inflammatory form. Raymond looked at that research summary for a long moment and said quietly, "I gave up eggs for nothing." They rebuilt his breakfast around 2 whole eggs, not egg whites, whole eggs, and here's why that distinction matters enormously. The yolk is not the enemy. The yolk is where the vast majority of the egg's nutritional value is concentrated. It contains choline, a nutrient that supports healthy liver function, which is critically important for anyone with diabetes because the liver's role in glucose regulation is central. It contains vitamin D, which research has consistently linked to improved insulin sensitivity, meaning the cells in your body become more responsive to the insulin your pancreas produces. It contains lutein and zeaxanthin, 2 antioxidants that specifically protect retinal cells from the kind of oxidative damage that chronically high blood sugar causes over years. And it contains B vitamins that support the health of peripheral nerves, the exact nerves that begin to tingle and go numb in the feet and hands as diabetic neuropathy develops. When you throw away the yolk, you throw away most of what makes the egg worth eating. 6 weeks after changing his breakfast, Raymond came back for his follow-up. His post-meal glucose readings had dropped from the 230 to 240 range down to 150 to 160 consistently. He had measured himself every morning because, in his words, "I'm a teacher, I needed the data." His fasting glucose average had dropped from 181 to 158. And he said something that Dr. Pradip still remembers. "I feel like I've been given a piece of information I should have had years ago." Now, and this is where the practical detail matters as much as the concept. The benefit of eggs depends entirely on how you prepare them and what you put alongside them. Because the egg itself is not magic, it's a vehicle, and what you put in that vehicle can either take you towards stable glucose or drive you straight past it. The most common mistake Dr. Pradip sees is frying eggs in butter or generous amounts of oil, then serving them with white toast or flour-based flatbreads. The egg in that scenario is doing its job. The protein is there. But the saturated fat from the cooking and the fast carbohydrates from the bread work together to create a temporary block on insulin signaling while simultaneously raising glucose. The egg's benefit gets buried under the damage its companions are doing. The best preparation methods are the simplest ones. Scrambled eggs in a non-stick pan with no oil added. The egg's natural fat content is sufficient to prevent sticking at medium heat. Stir them slowly, remove them while they're still slightly soft, and you have a preparation that preserves everything beneficial. Hard-boiled eggs are even more practical. Prepare a batch the night before, keep them in the refrigerator, and you have a ready protein source for breakfast or a mid-morning snack at any moment without any morning effort. A vegetable omelette cooked without oil, with spinach, tomatoes, onion, mushrooms, or whatever you have available, is a third option that adds fiber from the vegetables, which multiplies the glucose stabilizing effect and adds significant volume so you feel genuinely full without adding meaningful carbohydrates. What you pair with the eggs matters just as much. Avocado is the ideal partner. Its monounsaturated fat further slows digestion without raising blood sugar at all. Spinach adds magnesium, a mineral that research shows plays a significant role in insulin sensitivity and one that studies have found many people with diabetes are deficient in without knowing it. Bell peppers, tomatoes, mushrooms, and cucumbers are all excellent additions, high in fiber, extremely low in carbohydrates, and filling enough to carry you through 4 or 5 hours without hunger or cravings. Leave a comment below telling Dr. Pardip how you currently prepare your eggs. He reads them and it helps him give more specific advice based on where most people are starting from. 3 mistakes to eliminate immediately. First, using olive oil to cook eggs at high heat. Olive oil is genuinely one of the healthiest fats available, but its benefits are best preserved when it's used cold or at low temperatures. At high heat, it degrades and adds unnecessary calories to a food that already has its own fat built in. Second, serving eggs with fresh squeezed juice. Patients tell Dr. Pardip all the time that they squeeze it themselves, as though freshness changes the biology. But juice from any fruit, fresh or otherwise, is sugar without fiber. Fiber is what makes whole fruit tolerable for blood sugar. Remove the fiber and you have a concentrated sugar delivery system that bypasses every natural buffer your digestive system has. Eat the whole fruit if you want fruit. Third, adding processed meats like ham, sausage, or bacon. The sodium content and chemical additives in these products create problems for blood pressure and cardiovascular health that are especially significant for someone with diabetes. If you want to add something savory, a small amount of cottage cheese or a thin slice of natural cheese are far better options. Here is the section most people don't know about, and it might be the most immediately useful thing in this entire video. Eggs are almost universally thought of as a breakfast food. And yes, breakfast is the highest leverage moment to eat them because it establishes a glucose ceiling for the entire morning. But eggs at dinner carry a benefit that consistently surprises patients when Dr. Pardip explains it. When your last meal of the day is built around protein rather than carbohydrates, your liver, which releases glucose into your bloodstream throughout the night even while you sleep, does so in a more measured, stable way. The result can be a meaningfully lower fasting glucose reading the next morning. For some patients, this shift alone has meant a difference of 15 to 20 points on their morning reading. Not from changing medication, from changing dinner. 2 eggs with roasted vegetables instead of a plate of rice or bread. That's the trade. That's what's available to you starting tonight. One more thing before closing, because Dr. Pardip gets this question constantly. Do the eggs need to be organic, free-range, or pasture-raised to deliver these benefits? The honest answer is Not necessarily. Pasture-raised eggs do tend to have higher omega-3 and vitamin D content compared to conventional eggs. If you have access to them and the budget for them, they're worth choosing. But if conventional supermarket eggs are what fits your life and your finances, they are still an extraordinarily nutritious food that will give you the vast majority of everything discussed in this video. Don't let the perfect be the enemy of the good. The most important thing is that you're eating eggs, whole eggs, prepared correctly, paired well, not which brand or farming method produced them. The egg was never against you. Dr. Pardip wants you to carry that with you. What may have been working against you was fear built on outdated information combined with preparation habits that undermined a genuinely powerful food. When you change those two things, how you think about eggs and how you actually cook and serve them, you unlock a tool for blood sugar management that medication alone cannot replicate, because it operates at the level of digestion itself. Raymond told Dr. Pardip at his most recent visit that he now hard-boils a half dozen eggs every Sunday evening. They sit in his refrigerator all week, ready for breakfast, ready for a snack, ready for an easy dinner when he doesn't feel like cooking. "It's the simplest thing I do," he said, "and it's made the biggest difference." That's what happens when the right information reaches the right person at the right time. Please remember, this video is intended for general educational purposes only and is not a substitute for personalized medical guidance. Always consult your own physician before making dietary changes, especially if you are taking insulin, metformin, or any other medication. Your individual health situation is unique, and your doctor needs to be part of any changes you make. If this video gave you something useful, something that genuinely shifted how you see eggs and your morning glucose, please subscribe to this channel right now. Dr. Pardip publishes new content every week built on real evidence designed for people who are serious about living well with diabetes. Like this video if it helped you. Share it with someone you care about who is navigating the same challenge, and leave a comment below. What is the one change you're going to make to how you prepare or pair your eggs? Dr. Pardip reads every comment. Your numbers have more room to move than you might believe. Give them the chance.